All right, welcome to the Coach Mack Show, our post-homecoming game edition. Coach, Telfair County came in Friday night, all the festivities and everything that went along with homecoming. Had a great time. Actually, my second year in a row I've watched a pep rally. Tammy was invited to take pictures for the pep rally, so we came out and checked that out. On the football field, defense showed up. I thought they established a defense right from the beginning.
Our defense did a great job. Every year homecoming, it's a pretty big deal around here, and the kids really seem to enjoy it, and along with even the teachers and people in the community really get into it. And of course, our part's the football game. I'd really like for my kids to enjoy the homecoming. I'm not one of those coaches that just wants to shelter my kids and keep them away from everything. I tell them to go ahead and enjoy it and all that. But then after that pep rally on Friday, after 3 o'clock when that pregame meal starts, it's all about a football game. And along the week, we had a good week of preparation last week. I felt like everything went good. Homecoming festivities were a lot of fun for the kids and so forth. So come game time, I thought our guys were really ready to play. I felt good about it. Our defense really showed up, like you mentioned. Our defense had an outstanding game. Telfair's offense ran the ball 40 times for 110 yards. And if you look at it, a lot of those yards came off of big plays or plays kind of towards the end where the quarterback would get loose on the zone read from us. And passing the ball, they threw the ball 91 times, completed for 91 yards. They completed 6 passes. So it wasn't too bad there. But defensively, I felt our defensive line, our linebackers played outstanding. We knew people were going to take shots at our defensive backs. We've given up a lot of yards in the passing game. But I thought our defensive backs did really good as far as deep throws. They managed to stay with their guy. So defensively, it was really, really a great game all the way around. We had one where we threw a pick later in the game. We threw an interception, gave Telfair a short field, and our defense did give up the touchdown there. That's the only score we gave up. But things got going with the defense with Michael Braxton, Toby Dasher, actually. Toby Dasher, he had an interception. It's always a defensive lineman's dream to pick one off. He ran 37 yards into the end zone and start the scoring off. And right before half, actually it was the last play, the clock actually hit 0. The horn was going off during the play, and he caught the ball in the air and took off 37 yards for a touchdown. Now, like I was telling you today on film, I said that's every defensive lineman's dream. 20 years from now, you're going to tell everybody that was an 80-yard interception. You were covering the guy deep, and you had to push people off of you to score. So that thing will probably grow in legend as time goes on. But I couldn't have been more excited for it to happen to him, because he deserves everything good that happens to him. He's an incredible kid, and he's one of my all-time favorite players, and I'm really glad that it happened for him. And the team was just really excited for it to happen. At halftime, really felt pretty good because our offense did move the ball. We just didn't do well down in the red zone at all. We were able to throw the ball. We were able to run the ball. We had some good things going on. But again, defense really held us in there in the first half. Second half, defense showed up again, but our offense showed up in the second half, and we went on to put some points on the board. Andrew Lee really looked like Andrew Lee of old. Andrew ran the ball 27 times for 235 yards and a touchdown. Eric Daniels came in when we needed him for 5 carries for 39 yards and a touchdown. Raekwon ran the ball 4 times for 23 yards. And then, of course, on our fake punt attempt, we needed 11 yards, and Bryant Sloan had exactly 10 yards, so we came up a yard short on that. But again, did a real good job. So totally for a team, it was 40 carries for 287 yards and 2 touchdowns. We felt like Jimmy threw the ball well for 176 yards on 7 completions for 2 touchdowns. And the big receiver on that was A.J. Bell. A.J. did just a great job, had 3 huge catches for 131 yards and 2 touchdowns. So A.J., without a doubt, one of our players of the game, just an incredible night of catching the football. Raekwon had 2 catches for 27 yards. Ethan Sauls and Isaac Gillis each had a catch. So all of our receivers were involved in the passing game, and that's really good for that. So offensively, we got it going. Just the biggest thing that came out of the game for our offense was the fact that Andrew Lee really got going the way Andrew had in the past. It seems like it's taken a while this year to get him going, but he did a good job of some really tough running. Penalties weren't good for us. Most of our penalties came from the offensive side of the ball. The Telfair's defense would call out something or whatever, and it made our offensive linemen jump off sides. And what they were doing wasn't illegal. They were just hollering out when we were in motion. They'd yell motion real loud, and then, of course, our offensive line would jump up. It's something we really worked on today, and hopefully we got that straight. But we had 9 penalties for 60 yards, and compared to Telfair's 7 penalties for 55 yards. So we really think that, we saw some really good things, some things that has us excited about moving forward. Talking about the defense, our leading tackler again for this game was Bryant Sloan. He's been our leading tackler, it seems like, almost all year long. And also on the defensive side of the ball, we had 2 interceptions. Brad Milton had a huge interception in the second half on a long pass, and then Michael Dasher, of course, his interception for a touchdown. Really glad about our output as far as our play against Telfair. Jimmy, he's had some tough games the last few games. He really looks sharp, and I think that he's kind of over his injuries and he's moving on. So defense definitely dominated. Offense got it going later in the game, and real pleased with that.
Yeah, going back to Andrew Lee for a moment. I thought Friday night, and we've been webcasting Indian football now for 4 or 5 years. I thought Andrew really ran with authority Friday night.
He really did. He really did, and it was something. We were just waiting for that breakout game for him, and Friday night was his breakout game. He really lowered his shoulder, and he's very fast kid, and he got through the holes extremely fast. We still feel like as an offensive unit, our offensive line isn't where it needs to be. They're working hard. I know that Coach Murray is working those guys and getting them better each and every week. We had a new starter on the offensive line. Freshman Ricky Blaylock started at left tackle, and he did okay. But, again, we need to get better on the offensive line. And the better we get, I think the better you're going to see Andrew run the football. But I was also real pleased that we were able to mix it up, throwing the ball 16 times, and run it 40 times. Actually, I think that you're going to see us probably mixing up even more, and that number might even be a little bit closer where you're going to see even a little bit more passing from us. Today we worked on a lot of different passing schemes and combinations, and today was all about really installing our defense today on Monday, and a lot of conditioning, of course, on Mondays, which we usually do. But we really worked installing the defense that we want to run against Clinch County, and then some whole new passing things that we really think that work off of what we already have in. And I think that our numbers could be even better as far as passing and running together. So look forward to that. And, of course, we did a lot of kicking today. Clinch County has some pressure packages they'll bring at you, and we really needed to work on that and make sure we had everybody accounted for. So felt good about today. Had a good day at school, had a good day in the weight room, and this is Clinch County week, so we're looking forward to the week.
The Friday night, it seemed like, too, at least on the yardage totals, and really overall, that the game was probably one of the most balanced games we've had this season as far as run, pass, with the yardage and everything, which Andrew Lee had phenomenal yards.
Yeah,
he had some great yardage passing as well.
287 rushing and 176 passing. That's pretty good. That's pretty good for us. We've had a lot of games where that's been a good night for us. And like I said, we would like to be somewhere in there always. We figure if we're somewhere in there, the way our defense is playing, then we'll be doing pretty good. I felt like that there's even some more passing opportunities possibly there for us that we didn't do a good job. We have some route combinations we really like, and we felt like we kind of messed some of those up. If we wouldn't have messed those up, I felt like we could have had even more yards passing. But again, really pleased with Jimmy's throwing and AJ's receiving, and really pleased with Andrew Lee's running. So we got some really good things, some positive things moving forward with 2 games left and then the playoffs on the horizon.
All right, Coach. I know everybody in town. Telfair was last week. So everybody in this community is wanting to know about Swamp War. So we'll take a short break unless you have anything else you want to discuss about Telfair. And we'll be right back with Swamp War. The Coach Mack Show. We're going to talk about what everybody wants to hear, Swamp War. But first of all, Coach, our senior spotlight, Andrew Lee, number 8.
Andrew Lee, of course, has been with the program all the way from his junior high days, and in junior high we knew he was going to be a special player, and then stepping right up in the varsity level. His freshman year, he got to play some in and out and broke his arm on the last game of the season up at Marion, and that was a real setback for him that off season, and I think he had to have 2 procedures done on it to get it to where it was right. But Andrew Lee has had some great years. I think he's had a couple years over 1,400 yards his sophomore year and his junior year last year, and then this year he's right at 798 yards and 5 touchdowns and on 98 attempts. A little bit behind what he's had in the past, but again, his numbers are really going up. He's healthy. As healthy right now as he's been. A lot of times these backs who get to run the ball a lot, they get banged up, but he's healthy. But he has also a couple good backups and Eric Daniels, and then also we feel like we also have some backups in Israel Gilliard for him. So he has gotten spelled some this year, but again, he's 5'10", and about 200 pounds, and he does have some colleges that are interested in him. Don't really know the direction he'll be going with that, but again, he's a fabulous football player, and he's created a lot of highlights out here on this field and other fields, and he's somebody that we're really looking forward to continue having a great year. He's got a humongous challenge this Friday night with Clinch, but again, I think he's running the best he's ran since last year, so we're looking forward to hopefully him continuing that. And of course, he's been a good player for us and a great kid, and he's our senior spotlight.
It's nice having him come off that big game he had Friday night. Hopefully that'll lead right into this game Friday night.
Yep, hopefully.
Versus Clinch. So congratulations, Andrew Lee. You're our senior spotlight for this week. Coach, Clinch County, the history. I know you've been here this is your 26th season?
26th, I think, as head coach, yeah.
Something like that.
Something like that.
A lot of history there, the rivalry. I know everybody around here says anytime you beat Clinch in any sport, it's a good day.
Well, the thing
talk about Clinch County.
Yeah, thing about Clinch and rivalries. I saw a publication where it had us as Clinch and us as being the number 2 rivalry in the state. The Valdosta Lowndes being number 1, Charlton Clinch being number 2. We played football 64th. This will be our 64th time playing. My thing with Clinch is my feelings towards them is just complete respect. When I first got down here in 1988 as an assistant, they were in their heyday back then. They were really, of course, they're awfully good now and has been awfully good over the years, but I got to experience them up close in 1988. I think it was a year they may have won a state championship. They're just an outstanding football team, really well coached, great athletes, and then the next year as an assistant, we played them again back in '89. They were still real dominant, and we were able to, we of course got beat by them. And then that was kind of a run of, and in my first year in 1990, we closed the gap a little bit, and we lost, I think, 13-0 to them. But that was a streak of 14 straight games right there to where Clinch County had dominated Charlton County. And in 1991, we were able to break that. were able to break that streak in '91, and then since then it seems like it's been going back and forth throughout the years. There's a lot of similarities in us. You know, according to what I've gotten out of our program and some other things, and given to me by some people, that over the years I think Charlton County's won 34 of them. They've won 28. There was a tie. We've scored 900 points over the years. They've scored 880. We have 4 state championships. They have 5. We have 21 region titles. They have 15. So there's a real close similarities in Charlton County and in Clinch County. And of course, we're really just divided from straight across the swamp from one another. They have a lot of our kids know their kids from past, whether it's recreation or junior high or just whatever it may be. I know a lot of our kids know their kids very well. Actually, one of our football players dates one of their cheerleaders. I know that. So there is some similarities in there. But my feeling is, people talk about rivalry, and this isn't what I would call a heated rivalry. This isn't what I'd call one that's based on dislike or anything like that. Coach Jim Dickerson is a good friend of mine. He's the head football coach over there, and he has some outstanding assistants also on there, and Jim does a great job of motivating, a great job of coaching. This team we're going to face is a team that's going to be extremely motivated, extremely well coached. Friday night, they're a team that in preseason I felt like Clinch County was probably the number 1 team in the state, and I felt like they had the best chance to probably take this thing all the way. And really, I haven't changed my mind on that so much. I really looking at the film, and I know they had a setback against Irwin County, at Irwin County, but I still think athletically and the way and the coaching and everything, I still think Clinch County is the team to beat in the state in single A, no doubt about it. Athletically, they can really run. It's just every year, that's Clinch County every year. I tell you, they got some of the fastest kids and biggest kids that we'll face all year, and they run their offense. They run a single wing, which is probably a 100-year-old offense. They do a great job at it. They actually run back there with 2 quarterbacks. They have 2 quarterbacks. Either one of them can take a snap, and they'll formation you, and they'll come back the other way with the Sally play, the wing T plays, and all that kind of stuff. They're very difficult to defend. Of course, when you add tremendous athletes to that, then you got a problem. And then also they have what I understand to be is probably the best freshman football player in the state, and maybe one of the finest in the country, and that's no exaggeration. I don't know the young man's name. I'm sure everybody will know his name soon, but he is, I believe he wears number 7. He's been out with a collarbone problem, but I think he's going to be back for our game from what we understand. If he's on the field, then now that opens up the passing game even more. So you have, if he's back, you've got a pile of Division I athletic ability out there now, whether they're tall enough to play or whatever, all that business. But as far as speed, you're going to have, this is the fastest football team we'll have seen to this date. Now, I don't consider ourselves to be a fast football team, so there's definitely a mismatch when it comes to that. And of course, if number 7, the quarterback, is back, that's going to be tough. The defensive end, linebacker, tight end, number 81, Chancey, he's been offered, and I think he's committed to the University of Georgia. Great football player, and they have others that look just like him out there. They have several kids over 6'4" and can really run well to the ball. You know, my feeling towards this game is first of all, it's great competition. Right. It's not one of those things where I'm going to sit around and worry what happens if we lose and all this kind of stuff, because they're a better football team than we are. We know that, and the kids can see it on film today, and I flat out told them, I said, listen, athletically they're better than we are. They're very well coached, but the thing about us and Clinch is we tend to kind of get up to where either team gets up for this thing, and it's usually great competition, and that's what I'm looking for, because I realize that we have we're probably going to be in the playoffs, and we're going to face good teams in the playoffs, and if we can hang with these guys, and we can compete versus Clinch County, then we got to feel like when we get in the playoffs, we might have a chance to win a game or two. So that's the biggest thing. I want our kids to believe that they can go over and compete against Clinch County. Now, you know, if we were to beat them, it would be pretty much a miracle, I think. But again, I really expect our kids to compete. we had a great day today. I think we'll have a great week this week, a lot of preparation going into this thing. But our kids know, they understand, they can look at the film and see the great athleticism, the speed that they have. And, of course, Coach Jim Dickerson does a great job coaching these guys. And it's going to be a tremendous atmosphere. I believe it was yesterday, someone asked me, "You nervous for the big game?" And I said, absolutely not. There's nothing to be nervous about because, number one, they're the favored team. If you coach football and play football, you want to play on a great stage. You want to play with great atmosphere. And this is going to be one of those games. It's going to be great atmosphere. There's going to be a big crowd over there. I know all the people from Charlton County are going to make the trip to the other side of the swamp for this one. And it's going to be a lot of fun. And like I told Coach Dickerson, I told our kids the same thing. I said, listen, win, lose, or there won't be a tie because it's a region game, but win or lose, we're going to shake their hands and we're going to pray up with them after the game and wish them the best of luck. And I really do wish them the best of luck for the rest of the season. But it's going to be a lot of fun going over there, competing against a great football team, against some great coaches, a team that has tremendous history, tradition. So this is going to be a lot of fun. This is going to be a good week, and it's going to be a great game to watch for our fans and people that can't make. It's going to be a great game to watch on your network here, and so we're ready to get over there and see how we can compete with this great talent they have.
We're looking forward to going over there. It's always a great game, but even now with this year, I was reading on which we knew it anyway, but I was reading on GPB Sports today. They're talking about this game statewide with the region implications in it. And not only for us, but it also affects other regions and how the seeding. This is a huge game.
It really is. The way our region has fallen as far as playoffs go, there's I believe 5 of us that are sitting in shape, pretty good shape for a playoff spot. Turner County is really in the driver's seat for this thing to be region champions. If Turner County can win the next 2 games, they're region champions. And they'll get one of the top 3 or 4 spots. And then the rest of us will fall in according to how our rankings are, our points we have. Like I told the kids, if things don't work out in Homerville, we're still in the playoffs. I think that we could still have a first-round home game, which is really huge, which is what we want. So really, we have nothing to really be all that concerned about other than just having a good time playing football at a high level against a great program, against a great football team. So that's really what we're looking at, is to have a lot of fun. I told the kids, I said, listen, don't be tight about this thing. Don't even worry about it. Just go over there and do the things we do. Yeah. Have fun at it. We're not going to be afraid to throw it around. We're not going to be afraid to fake punts and all this stuff and do the things that we enjoy doing. We're going to have a good time with this thing. We're going to go over there in front of a big crowd, and we're going to play hard. And I know Clinch will play hard, and we're going to see if we can't compete with people that are just have this kind of athletic ability. Again, this is the team that I really believe that has a shot to win this whole thing this year. I really believe that. With their athleticism and the skilled guys they have, and their offensive line is very good, defensive line is very good. You watch them and you don't see any weakness at all. You look at a team and you say, that's what single-A state champions look like right there is what you're looking at on Clinch. So we're hoping that we just go over and have a good time and compete against these guys and represent Charlton County well, which I know we'll do. We always have. I think if we go over there with that mentality, it won't be another Turner County where we get beat 44-0. We may get beat, but I'd like for us to at least compete in this thing for the entire game, 48 minutes all the way to the end. So at the end of the game, when we shake their hand, it's going to be, you know what, we played hard, we played good, we did the best we could. We will live with the outcome of this thing, and we're going to move on to the next one, and then we're going to move on and we're going to try to win a playoff game or 2. So other than that, it's
that was my next question, was the preparation. Do you treat a game like this any differently, or do you try to keep the same routine going?
Yeah,
the kids don't.
Not at all. I mean, I know our kids are excited, and I know my coaches. I've got some coaches who have played against Clinch County in the past, as well as their coaches. I think most all their coaches are from Clinch County. Don Tyson Jr. was, his dad was a legend, high school football coach. The stadium is named after him over there, and I got a chance to know his dad, and his dad is a tremendous football coach, and even a better man. And his son Don Tyson is on the staff, and we played against them. So yeah, I got some assistant coaches that have played against them, and they have coaches that have played against us. So this thing goes way back. This is something that's not new to anybody. I guess if anybody, I may be the newest one to it, being that I moved into this situation back in 1988, and I kind of my coaching careers kind of went along knowing that Clinch County is a team you want to be like. You want to be, as well coached as they are. You want to be as athletic and as physical as they are, and that's really what we've strived to do over the years, is try to be like Clinch County in a lot of ways. But again, we as far as our preparation, there's nothing different. We're not gonna pound the kids with this must-win thing. I mean, you get in the playoffs, you start talking to your kids about, listen, hey, we're fighting for our football lives here. If we lose, if we mess up, if we don't do our job, we're done. Season's over. And this isn't like that. This isn't a situation where we need to pressure the kids. Big emphasis on the kids to say, hey, have fun. Play this thing. It's going to be a great atmosphere. You're playing a great opponent. You're playing an opponent that we respect. And I'll tell you, I like their coaching staff. I mean, people probably hate to hear that. But you can't like them. And I said, but it's just quite the opposite. I have a lot of respect for Coach Dickerson and Coach Tyson and Coach Peterson and the rest of that staff over there. They just do an amazing job every year. Every year Clinch County's in it. Every year they've you know of them. You know they're going to be there at the end somewhere. So this is going to be a lot of fun. We're looking forward to it.
All right, Coach. 7:30 kickoff over there. It's probably the closest game we play other than the B team going to Ware. So get there early because it's their homecoming.
That's right.
And folks, y'all make the trip. We want our side of the field to look like Charlton and support the Indians. Big game, and we're looking forward to it. All right, Coach, I was reading this morning. Next subject is realignment. It's been kind of on the back burner a little bit, but it's coming up next year. And what I was reading on the some schools that are moving down, just some schools that I thought were of note, of interest locally, Gordon Lee, MCA, Seminoles coming back down, Manchester, and among some other ball teams. Now that's just what I read. I don't know if that's fact or not. That's what I read.
I think what you said there is pretty much true. We know Gordon Lee's going to come down because that's part of this thing, and we think MCA may come down, Seminole and Manchester, like you mentioned. What the state will do, and I think it may be the end of this month, it'll be shortly, where they're going to take what's called the FTE. It's the count of students that you have. Okay, that's the number of students that the state recognizes that you have. And they'll use those numbers. They'll use your enrollment numbers to put everybody in the classification according to numbers. So what's going to happen to us, either we're going to be a large single-A school or we're going to be a small double-A school. I think we're going to be right on the line on that. Coach Jesse Cruz, he's one of them that makes the map. He's one of them that makes the alignments and makes all the regions and so forth. And hearing from him, there's a good chance we could go up. From what I understand, he told me. And if we do, I'm sure we'd be in a region. Hopefully we don't go west because those guys, that's some tough riding over there, plus it's incredible competition. I think we'll probably go north. I think we'll be in a region more like with Bacon County and maybe Vidalia, Toombs, and if MCA stays up, MCA, Bryan County, and the like, so forth like that, and probably Jeff Davis. That's a chance that may happen. That very well may happen. I think our numbers are somewhere around 460 right now. Our numbers have went way up from a year ago and 2 years ago. We've had some small classes. Now it seems like I think we have a really big freshman class that's going to bump our numbers up quite a bit. So I wouldn't be surprised if we go up to AA. Really rather stay in single A, of course, not just for football. I think football is a sport that we can maybe adjust and we can compete at the AA level. I don't know about the state level, but the region level I think we can compete at. But, I'm also concerned about the other sports. Our basketball, track, tennis, baseball, softball. I know those guys have really benefited from being in single A, and I think that it would benefit them to stay in single A. But that's yet to be seen. I really don't know. I mean, it's not even too early for us for football coaches to even be talking about schedules for next year. Of course, you can't really do anything until you know what classification you're going to be in and what region you're going to be in. So I'm really anxious to find out what's going on, because I know we're going to have some games at the top we have to find, and it's real important for us to find competition that we can play with, so we don't get stuck playing somebody we have no business playing. So again, it's coming up, and it's something that we think about and talk about right now. I know I was even on the phone today with some high school coaches talking about next year's schedule, what's going on, and already trying to line up our non-region schedule, because the region schedule is taken care of for you. It's that non-region schedule that can scare you, and you hate to mess around and find yourself a game short or find yourself playing somebody you have no business playing, and that's not good for your program either. So it's coming up. I think we'll be hearing more about it in the next couple of weeks. For sure, before the end of November, I think everything should be pretty much lined up. So probably another month from now, I think we'll have a really good idea of what's going on. So hopefully it works out for Charlton County the best it can.
All right, Coach. I appreciate your insight on that, because I know I've been wondering, some folks have asked me, and so I figured I'd go to the man that has the information.
Well, I'm sure probably before long you'll probably want to try to get Coach Cruz got lined up, and he'll probably be able to tell you a lot more about that. That's what he does right there.
All right. One more thing before we sign off for this week. Maidens last week. Huge softball tournament right here in Folkestone with the round one of the playoffs. They fell short, but those girls worked hard, and those were two fantastic ball games.
Yeah, my daughter was a year or 2 years ahead of those girls, and she's been playing softball with those girls for a lot of years. And that senior class is really incredibly special. That class right there has been involved in more wins in softball level than probably in the history of our school. I'm sure that is safe to say. And also compared to other programs throughout the state, that group right there has been incredible over the years. It was really, I was sitting in the stands watching their season come to an end. It was really heartbreaking to sit there and watch it, because you knew that how much work Coach Baxter and those girls have put into that program, and to see them not get to advance was really, heartbreaking. But then again, on the other hand, you couldn't help but be proud of them. You couldn't help but be proud of the effort and just a bunch of classy kids just out there working, playing. We've had the privilege here at Charlton County to watch a high level of girls softball for the last several years, thanks to Coach Baxter, and thanks to those girls and the way they work year round to prepare. But again, it's a shame that it had to come to an end. I know we were all hoping to get to see them play a little bit more. But again, it was a great year. You can't take anything away from that. And I really have gotten to the point as a coach and as a parent, I've gotten to the point where you almost hate to see the worst time of the season is at the end, when it comes to an end. But also, I hate to see people try to judge the entire body of work that these kids have put in and these coaches have put in over just the playoffs. And that's one thing that's been disappointing about it is that, well, if you don't win the playoffs, it's a complete disappointment. That's not true. These girls had a tremendous season, tremendous run, great career, and it's been a lot of fun watching them. And now it's unfortunately over. But again, they did a great job, did a really good job, and Coach Baxter's as good as you're going to get when it comes to coaching ball. So he did a great job with them. So look forward to seeing what he puts together next year. It's going to be some new faces, a lot of new faces out on the softball diamond, but I know it'll be good, and I know it'll be competitive as long as Coach Baxter's coaching them.
It was a lot of fun. Hate to see him cut it short, like you said, but two fantastic games. The girls kept battling back. I mean, it was back and forth.
Very competitive games. I mean, it was got to the point to where, we would be up, they would be up, and then at the end, it came down to the end. Two games like that, two evenly matched teams. Sly County's a good good softball team, and be interesting to see how far they go. And I think you might see them win some games, which tells you how good we really were. Yeah. So good job for them.
All right, Coach, we appreciate it. We'll have the game live for those of you who can't make it over to Homerville Friday night, but we want everybody that can make that trip. It's going to be a lot of fun over there in Homerville Friday night. Kickoff at 7:30. And anything else going on this week? B team's done.
B team's done. I think football is the only thing. Varsity football is the only thing left. So everything else is finished.
All right, Coach. Well, we'll see you Friday night. I appreciate it.